Ladies and gentlemen, the Durham probe is going to indict more people very soon. Almost certainly there will be an attorney at law firm one or a researcher or tech executive somebody that had to do with the Michael Sussman trial, or that worked with Michael Sussman, the indicted attorney, the third indictment within the Durham probe special counsel, to spread false allegations into the United States government. If you read the indictment, Michael Sussman lied to James Baker at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That's what he's being indicted for. However, there's a much larger, more important picture. 18 U.S. Code 371, and there are other statutes as well, pertaining to defrauding the United States government and the American people. You cannot lie to government officials. You cannot knowingly deceive government officials to get them to investigate your direct political rival. You just can't do that. Okay? That's what Sussman, Danchenko, Kevin Kleinsmith, the three people who were indicted. That's what they did, or they were given money, or they acted in a corrupt motive. And at the end of the day, Trump, his campaign, people around him were harmed. But again, the larger picture is that tens of millions of people believe that Trump was installed by the Kremlin to this day. To this day, you'll get people who say, oh my God, there's this battle for information. Trumpers are believing things that aren't true. And then they'll say, in the same breath, well, I still think that Trump was installed by the Kremlin, even though there's no evidence, even though the Mueller probe didn't find anything. How do you start a myth? How do you purchase your own hoax or myth? It starts by a devastating loss. So when Clinton lost to Trump, like I told everybody 6 years ago, I said she would lose to Trump. She lost. But before Clinton lost to Trump, they were like, everyone was confident beyond belief. They were certain that Trump would lose miserably. When Clinton lost, like I said she would, in the Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, or the Salon, the Huffington Post, and the Hill, they then realized, oh my God, we have to go and explain why this happened. That's where the Steele dossier comes in. That's where the Alpha Bank server story comes in. The Steele dossier was a compilation of lies, deceitful statements, complete fabrications, fantasies, literally purchased by the Clinton campaign and the Democratic Party. It was then funneled through the United States government to various agencies. James Comey tried to intimidate Trump, saying, hey, look, we have this dossier. We don't really know where it came from, or, it's just raw intelligence right now, but we want to let you know we're investigating you. Or he actually didn't say that, because Trump didn't really know he was under investigation. He said, well, there are these accusations against you. Just want to let you know that we're taking care of it. And so the first day of his presidency, he was on the defensive. 2 years later, or 3 years later, everyone found out the whole thing was a hoax. But you still have tens of millions of people believing a lie. One of the greatest lies ever told in U.S. history, that Trump was installed by the Kremlin. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel below in the pinned comment. Everything that I've been saying since last October, since my article in The Federalist predicting all of this, everything I've been saying is taking place. Skyrocketing inflation, GDP contracting. I said we're heading into a recession. Read that article below in the pinned comment. We're heading towards a devastating stock market crash because of the policies of mashed potato brains and Democrats. So President Mashed Potato Brains, not only does his son have emails showing clear pay-to-play schemes, like you'd have to be an imbecile not to see these emails saying, oh, how can you use your influence on behalf of the company? Oh, coincidentally, that country's suffering, being invaded under his watch. We can go on forever. But hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel below. I'll have a very important segment today in the Stock Market Crash channel, hit subscribe to this channel. But ladies and gentlemen, they utilized information that was non-public data. They manipulated existing contracts, and I talked about that yesterday evening. There was a contract, so there's two major fabrications or hoaxes or myths. One was the Steele dossier. Well, there are numerous ones actually, but the two major ones that they used against Trump was the Steele dossier, purchased by Clinton through a law firm. The law firm, you have attorneys at the law firm almost certainly committing crimes pertaining to the purchase of that dossier. They knew that it was going to be used to defraud the United States government. They knew the allegations were false because they literally purchased, they outsourced and they paid people to create and fabricate those allegations. You can't just pay someone to go obtain dirt on your political opponent and then say, well, it could be true. Let's just see if anything sticks. And by the way, with all it's said and with everything that's transpired, I still want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. You might say, well, oh my God, what are you talking about? That's complete nonsense. But we're still stuck in 2016. We are stuck in a 2016 matrix. You might think that, wait, this is 2022. There are all these, Twitter is getting purchased by Elon Musk, thank God. The reason that we're stuck in this matrix is that we still haven't come to terms with 2016. Bernie Sanders was cheated by the Democratic Party. It was not the fault of any country. Trump defeated Clinton fair and square. The same people who complain about Trump not accepting results are the same people who never accepted results for 4 years, and they literally defrauded the United States government. So I want a rematch because we have to may the best candidate win. Obviously, I think Trump would win. But we do need a rematch, and Democrats will vote, for Madam Secretary, that if they're told to fall in line, the Democratic voter is born. I know, people, their lives, they're exist to be Democrats. They exist to vote blue no matter who. And no critical thinking skills. They just, they'll lose all their friends. They'll get kicked off of Facebook or forums and stuff. So they have to they'll lose they'll disown their friends, or their friends will disown them the way they've disowned anyone who supports Trump in their lives. So that's the world, the matrix they live in. They'll vote for Clinton in a heartbeat. Of course. They'll vote for Hillary Clinton. If they're told to, you could have a far left, the edgiest leftist in the world. Systemic injustices that are actually getting worse under our beloved president, mashed potato brains Biden. Worse, inflation is a tax upon the poor. It's a tax upon everybody. Wages are decreasing. Real wages, 2.7% to 3%, actually more than that. The economy is a catastrophe. I'm about to sneeze. Anyway, you look, ladies and gentlemen, and so we're still in that matrix. I want a rematch, but we're experiencing a collapse economically and in terms of foreign policy, a catastrophe, geopolitical nightmare, because we have a presidency that, the president doesn't know what's going on, but you have half the country still reeling from 2016. Everything that takes place now is linked in some way to Bernie Sanders being cheated and to Trump defeating Clinton. In some way, it's linked. That's why Democrats are petrified that Elon Musk will take over Twitter and actually allow people to talk and communicate. If you don't like something somebody says, you block them, you could sue them, or you can go to the police. There are all these laws that protect people in terms of speech, and they predate Twitter, believe it or not. So hearing an idea or a viewpoint that you don't like, you have to defeat that viewpoint with reason and logic and discourse and debate and rational thought. If you don't have rational thought, if you don't have reason and logic, or if you're not, educated enough, or if you're not smart enough, or you don't possess enough wisdom, that's the most important thing, then yeah, you won't like the new Twitter. But there are people, when John Durham is going after attorneys and tech researchers. The tech people obtained data on Trump while he was president. He's going after these people for defrauding the United States government. He's going to indict a lot more people. And what's going to take place is that the people at the top who helped orchestrate all of this, once you have more indictments, like, for example, Sussman's indictment, every time they try to prevent something from being included in the court or in the trial, it doesn't work out. Because then Durham says, hey, you know what? We have more information on this. And oh, by the way, for example, the Clinton campaign and Fusion GPS are saying you can't include documents pertaining to us in the Sussman trial. Michael Sussman was our attorney. And at the same time, Sussman's defense is, we weren't doing any legal work for anyone. So they're stating that there's attorney-client privilege with an attorney who is also stating that he didn't really provide any legal work for them. And so he lied to the Federal Bureau of Investigation because he was definitely contracted and hired by Trump's direct political rivals to spread lies about Trump. This is not difficult to understand. They spread lies about Trump. The lies were then amplified by media, and who were all too willing to spread these absurd, deceitful statements, lies by omission or overt lies. And these are the same people who want a ministry of truth. Okay, these are the same people who want, who focus on a battle for information when most of the time they're trying to lie by omission or just completely deceive. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. When they had a running tally with Trump, Trump has told 10,000 lies. If they used the same standard to judge Biden or Clinton or President Obama, you would have the same amount or very likely a lot more. Okay, Trump's hyperbole is different than when Biden says, "Well, I didn't know anything about Hunter's work." Okay, the pay-to-play schemes, the clear violations of the law. If President Mashed Potato Brain says, "Well, he doesn't know that his son was trading the family name," that's a much greater lie than Trump saying, "This is the best economy ever." Okay, it's one of the best economies ever. But the Washington Post would weight those lies by omission or the hyperbole from Trump and the overt lie by Biden as the same type of thing. Or actually, no, they wouldn't even state it was a lie by Biden. So it's like they just obsessed over Trump in the most unfair manner, and they didn't use the same standards to judge Trump in the manner they judge themselves. That's why you have 20,000 billion trillion lies with Trump and no lies with Biden. I mean, really, honestly, when he says he didn't know what his son was doing, I guess that's true. I mean, you can't prove otherwise. This is why 73 million Americans vote for Trump. This is why people who don't like Trump vote for Trump, because the other side is just so deceitful, it's unbelievable. And everyone can see what's taking place. When you have a government agency in charge of deciding what's truthful and what's not truthful, you have a big problem. This is almost like comical. They're showing you all their cards. They're not even pretending anymore. They're like, yeah, we want to basically control what you think. That's true. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now. There are statutes pertaining to deceiving the government. It's very simple. I mean, Durham is just building the foundation. It's not difficult. Do you think that John Durham, who's already sent bureau officials to prison, one in particular in Boston, do you think that John Durham doesn't understand what Comey and Strzok and McCabe and Clapper and Brennan and all these people did? You think he doesn't understand this? You think he doesn't understand what Sussman and other attorneys at that law firm and the tech researchers? You think he doesn't understand what was taking place, what transpired? Of course he does. He's just building a huge case. Give me your thoughts below. The indictments pertaining to this are imminent. Give me your thoughts. Thank you so very much. Be here in about an hour. Thank you.